What's up guys, welcome back to another episode of Learn More with Noor. Today's episode is going to be around Tinkercad. Now Tinkercad is this online website that allows you to design 3D objects that you can print later on. It's very cool and it's very free, so let's take a look. First thing you're going to do is you're going to create an account and input your username and password. After that you are given this interface right here where you basically have a plain work plane or an empty work plane. I'm going to go ahead and rename this project into flower. And that is because the object that I'm designing today is going to be a flower. So the first step is that I want to create the pot, and I'm going to do that by dragging the cone shape from the right hand side and placing it on the work plane. Now, the reason I chose the cone instead of the cylinder for the pot is because the cone allows me to edit the top radius and the base radius in order to give me that curved or slanted feel. So I'm going to make the top radius is 5, the base radius is 3, and you have to press enter for it to work. And I'm going to shrink this cone by maybe 5. So we're going to zoom in a little bit. That is how it looks like. Now this is our pot right here, but as you can see it's not hollow. Now in order for us to create a hole, we have to pick the cylinder shape from the right hand side and press on hole. Now we're going to adjust the cylinder's sides in order for it to fit inside the pot that we've created. So we're going to go down here, shrink it a little bit, or we can just manually type. I'm going to put it at 4 and 4. And then I'm going to shrink this down to 5 as well. And I'm going to highlight both of those right here and use this handy tool right here called Align, which allows me to place the cylinder right inside the pot without having to go through a lot of trouble. So I'm going to press this middle button right here, and then this middle button right here, and then I'm going to align it to the top. Oh, I believe it's already aligned to the top. I'm going to click outside. And as you can see, the cylinder is perfectly aligned inside the pot, but it's still not hollow. So I'm going to select both of them and use this tool right here called Group. And once I press that, the cylinder automatically punches a hole inside the pot. Now as you can see, the pot is hollow from the very bottom, which is a mistake on my part. So I'm just going to undo that and make sure that the cylinder's height is not greater than the pot's height. Now you see the pot's height here is 5. I'm going to make the cylinder's height as 4 and repeat that align process once again. And align it to the top so that you can see where the cylinder goes. Once again, here it is. I'm going to highlight both of them, press Group, and it punches a hole right in the middle with no leakage at the bottom, is what I'm going to call it. So we just created our pot. Now we have to go through and create our flower. Now the first step, I would say, would be to drag another cylinder out of the basic shapes, and I'm going to adjust the viewing right here. I'm going to shape the cylinder into a flower petal. So first I'm going to shrink that a little bit, maybe 2 points. And then I'm going to shrink it once again from this side, perhaps a 5. And this perhaps a 12. Once you look at it now, it does sort of look like a very thick petal. So I'm going to make that a little bit thinner at 3. And then maybe a little bit shorter as well at 9. Let's make that 11. Okay, looks good. So this is our flower petal. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to select it and press Command D on my keyboard for Mac users and Control D for PC users. And that's just going to duplicate the shape. And what I'm going to do is drag it out so that it aligns with the first flower petal, and now I have two flower petals perfectly aligned together. Now we're going to need to do this process over and over again, and instead of just duplicating it one by one, you can select both of them and press group right here, which is going to allow them to act as one object. And you're going to hit Command D on your keyboard once again, and now they have duplicated. And then you're going to press on the rotation tool on this right side and rotate it by about 22.5%. And we're just going to repeat this process over and over again by hitting Command D on our keyboard. And what's cool about Tinkercad is that it actually memorizes this pattern and does the rotation for you until you have this perfectly symmetrical flower. Now we're going to select the entire flower and group it together so that it acts once again as one object. Now you can do this before or after you place the center for the flower. I chose to do it before, but it's up to you. But now we just need a center for that flower like you would have with a daisy. Now I want my flower to actually be a sunflower, so I'm going to select the shape right here and choose this color to be yellow. Afterwards, I'm going to drag another cylinder out and adjust the size. So this could be a 3, maybe this could be a 3 as well. See how that looks. Shrink that to a 1 maybe, and set the color to black for the sunflower center. And I'm going to use once again the Align tool to place that cylinder in the center of the flower and at the very top. Now I actually am going to make this a little bit thicker. Okay, I think we're going to set that to 3 actually, to match the flower. And once again, we're going to align at the top, and there you have it. But we just need to have them both touch the ground. So we're going to select the flower and move it down until it says 0. There we go. And like so. Okay. Next I'm going to make the flower stand up. So I'm going to select both parts once again, and I'm just going to use this tool right here to rotate it to an even 90 degrees. And then I'm going to move it above ground as well until it reaches 0. There we go. Okay, so now we're just going to select both objects once again and group them so that they can become one piece. Now, as you can see, Tinkercad has changed both of the colors to yellow, which is not what we want. So we're just going to press on the object, press on this little arrow right here, and pick the color to be multicolor. And our flower is back looking fresh. Now, we need to align the flower with the pot once again, and so we're going to use the Align tool and do the exact same steps we did before. Okay, now our flower is missing a stem, as you can see, so we're just going to lift it up for now by using this arrow right here, and we're going to go ahead and create our stem. And I'm going to do that by actually picking one of the featured shapes in here, and you have a bunch of different shapes to choose from, but I'm actually going to choose a twisted polygon because I feel like it gives a nice stem shape. So I'm just going to change the color to green, and I'm going to change this to 3, and shrink that a little bit. It's a little too thick for a stem, so I'm actually going to change it to 2. Okay, looks good. Now once again, I'm going to need to align the stem with the flower pot right here. So I'm just going to select the stem, the flower pot, and this object, and I'm just going to press the align tool once again. I'm going to press this button right here and this button right here, and that aligns all 3 of them together. Now we're going to have to bring this flower a little bit down so that it connects to the stem. I just realized how large of a flower this is in comparison to the flower pot. I think I'm actually going to extend the stem a little bit to reach the flower, as you can see. Now the stem appears to be a little bit thicker than the petals, so we're just going to adjust that according to the petal size. Make that into a 1, and that fits much better. And there you have it, a very, very large sunflower on a very small pot, but this is our finished result. You can look at it in all different directions using this cube right here. I hope this tutorial was very helpful for you guys, and thank you for tuning in. I will see you guys next week.